Hello again, welcome back to your introduction to watercolor for beginners. This video is part of a series that I have been releasing, so be sure to look at the description below, and if you want to start at the beginning, the videos are all listed in order just to make things nice and easy for you. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to remove the top painting from your watercolor block, and I'll be demonstrating this on 3 different brands of blocks. A watercolor block is a pad of paper that is glued all the way around all 4 sides, and that kind of keeps the paper from warping and buckling while you're painting on it without having to pre-stretch your paper. You can check out my other video on how to stretch paper the easy way rather than having to deal with stretching paper, especially if you're plein air painting and you just want to paint quickly without all the mess of stretching your paper. A watercolor block is a really great way to go. Now, they're all made a little bit different depending on the brand that you have. There are different locations for the little window or the release area to pop that top paper off. Some blocks have 20 sheets, some have 15. I'm going to show you on each one of these different blocks how to remove that top layer of paper once you've painted on it and the painting is finished and ready to come off. And just a heads up, when you're painting on the surface of a watercolor block, it's very safe to do this. There's no risk of the painting going through the other side. Most watercolor blocks are equipped with 140-pound paper, so that's a paper that is definitely thick enough that you're not going to risk having the painting stain through or permeate that upper surface. So what you need to do is have a look around each of the 4 sides to see if there is a little window. Now in this arches block, it's quite easy to see because the gummed side or the adhesive side that's holding all 20 sheets together is black. Some are a little trickier to see, but in this one, it's quite clear where the window is. I wouldn't recommend putting a palette knife or an X-Acto knife or a box cutter in here because speaking from experience, you can accidentally cut through and slice through your block. So I would recommend something rigid like a plastic ruler that's small enough to fit into the slot, or sometimes I just use a credit card, or in this case, just my little business card. So I find the one painting that I want to release from the top part of the pad and I stick it in the slot, and then I just run it along the edge. And I'm going to lay this flat to make my job a little easier. Now, what I would recommend is once you've gotten quite far along, is rather than continue to pop this off around the edge, you can actually just slide your hand under here. And this is the easiest and best and safest way to release the paper. And you just push your hand along evenly. And then finally you get to the edge of the paper and that will just pop right off. And as I mentioned, the paper underneath is completely intact. The next block I'll show you is Canson. And as I mentioned earlier, the arches had black gum all the way around, but this one is clear, so it's a little harder to find that window, but rest assured there is one. You just have to check along the sides. And voila, for this one, it's also located at the top. And I'm going to go about this the same way. I'm going to stick my business card in that little slot and then just skim it along the edge. Watercolor blocks come in all different surfaces: rough, hot pressed, cold pressed, depending on the medium that you're working in. And same process. This is what I would recommend, is just start it with something thin and rigid, and it's much faster and safer just to put your hand in and pop it off the top, and voila, another clean pad ready to go for your next painting. Finally, we have Fabriano, and I
think this one is the strangest location. I think it's on the outer corners, yes. So rather than it being in the upper window, this one is actually, it has 2 windows on each corner. This one was already lifting up from the pad already, so it's going to be pretty easy. You may run into trouble that way sometimes where the pad actually comes away from the board of the paper. And if that happens to you, you can continue using the paper. It's no problem. It is a little annoying, but all you have to do is maybe just clamp your sheet back on, because this isn't rigid enough as a support surface. So clipping it back to your rigid cardboard definitely helps. I hope that this tutorial was helpful to you.
And if you have any questions, please comment below and I'll be sure to answer them. Friends, if you are appreciating free video content like this, I would absolutely love your support if you could click that super thanks button, which is down below. That really helps to support me and allows me to continue creating this free content for you right here on my art channel.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy painting as always. See you the next time.